channel. If you are new here, please subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and I don't really like long intros, so let's just jump right into the video. So guys, before I start the stories, I just want to throw a disclaimer out there. I'm not like trying to complain about the job. I'm very, very grateful to have a job, especially in times that we're living in right now, and like these are like kind of one-offs. Like most of the customers, I'd say about like 90% of them are actually really nice people. Most of them don't really give you a problem, don't really give you an issue, at least in the time that I've been there. I guess maybe if I'm there longer, like my stories will my tone will change. But I just want to say that if you're like thinking about applying to like retail or doing anything in customer service, don't let this video scare you off. Don't let it think that this is every single experience is like this. There's a lot of nice people out there who you know, come through, just a lot of nice normal people. These are just the one-offs, but this video is just really meant to be like funny, like lighthearted, just to make jokes out of the foolishness that I see on a daily basis. Alright guys, so at my store, me and all of my coworkers like cannot stand working self-scan, being the self-scan attendant. If you're the self-scan attendant, they only like put you on for like 4 hours most of the time if that's what you're assigned to do, because most people, like I'm convinced they only do it because, sorry, there's a hair on my face. I'm convinced they do it because people can only handle working on like self-scan for 4 hours at a time. It's ridiculous with how people just don't know how the machines work, and it's like I cannot tell you how many times I've been cussed out by a customer because the coupon wasn't accepted, or you know, the machine was telling them to put their items in the bagging area. Ciao. Literally the other day I was in the morning, if you work, if you're scheduled to be the opening cashier, not only do you have to be the cashier, you also have to be the self-scan person, because they're counting on not a lot of people coming in, so you have to like kind of go back and forth. Like if you're cashing people out and the machine starts blinking, you have to be the one to go over there and fix it. And it's really annoying because of course every time it goes off, that's when you have a bunch of customers you got to deal with, and like there's like a line of 3 people. So the other day I was working as the opening cashier, and they only open 2 of the register. There's 4 self-scan. They usually only open 1, sometimes 2, but I think this day they had opened 2 of them because, like I said, they're not counting on a lot of people coming in. So I go over to help this lady because somebody left their food, or I guess they decided they didn't want it, so they just walked away. And you know, I clear it out for her, and as I'm walking away, y'all, this older lady, like this lady had to be like every bit of 80. She was like, excuse me. I was like, yeah. She was like, she points at the machine. Now, mind you, both of the machines that are open for use are being used. She's standing on the other side of the machine, of the like aisle, and she just points at the machine. I'm like, yeah, like, what about it? She's like, it's saying that it's not working. Mind you guys, on the screen, the machine says lane closed. So I told her, I was like, ma'am, those machines don't open until 8:30, because they don't open the machines until 8:30 when they're done with all the work or whatever. Or I think it's 8 o'clock, but I think we were running late this day, so it was like, it got open at 8:30. So I was like, yeah, sorry, it's not open yet. She literally looked at me and she was like, it's not open? I was like, no, it's not open. She looked at me, she just kind of like kind of made this face, kind of like, I don't think she was wearing a mask, so I could kind of like I could read her face, and she was kind of like, so I was like, just come to the register, I'll just cash you out over there. But what kills me is that the machine said lane closed. So what did you expect? Like, she really walked over there and was confused as to why the lane was closed. So another thing about the self-scan machine, you guys, is that they're very small because they don't want people taking a lot of groceries through that area. And so the area, the platform where you put all your groceries down is pretty small. It's supposed to be like an indicator, don't take all your groceries through here, but people come through with full carts anyways. And I cannot tell you the amount, like, just actually in the past 2 days I've had 2 incidents with this, but I cannot tell you how many times people have told me like, oh, the machine's not letting me scan the rest of my items, and you'll look at the machine and on the front it will literally say weight limit exceeded. So what it's telling you to do is take some of your groceries off and put them back in your cart. but people don't listen. As a matter of fact, a lady just got mad at me the other day. This Karen just got mad at me the other day, and she was like, I was standing there, and she was like, oh, excuse me, she was on her phone or whatever, and she had her kid in the car, and she was like, it's saying that I can't scan it, and she had a little attitude too. So I came over, I read it, I said, ma'am, the thing says that the weight limit is exceeded. She's like, yeah, oh, well, it was still telling me that even before. I was like, so I took off the water bottles that she had on there, and I was like, there, it's fixed. Like, all you have to do is read. All you have to do is read. That's all. Alright, guys, so this next story is not necessarily about, like, customers. They don't really work there, but, you know, they're in and out. So basically every week they have people who come in to stock the chips on the shelves, and I think these people come in weekly because I work at like a smaller store, so the chips go really quickly. And they come in, they stock the shelves, and you guys, out of all of the people I've seen come in, I think I've had one good experience with one really nice woman who works for the company that stocks the chips. Everyone else I've dealt with has been a complete and utter, like, you know what. So literally, this was like a month or two ago. This girl didn't know where to put throughout the I think the food had gone bad, so we usually have to throw it out in the back grocery room. So I just took it from her, and I was like, oh, I'll just do it for you, and I took it back there. And there were two people back there. There's just one lady who stocks the chips in particular that's in there all the time, and I literally have never spoken to her, so keep that in mind. And there's an older guy who works there, and I've spoken to him once, and we got in an argument because, like, he was telling me I was throwing away stuff that wasn't good, or it was still good, but I was throwing it in the back, but it was a whole big thing, but that's not the point. So literally, I take the bag back there, and I'm like, ugh, I don't want to talk to this old guy, like, he's just always so crotchety, and, like, I don't really feel like dealing with him. So I see the other lady. So, you know, I wasn't aware at this time that they didn't really work at the store. I saw her there every day, basically. She was there every day, so I assumed, like, oh, maybe she works at, like, you know, the warehouse, and they bring it, you know, and me, I don't know. But she wasn't wearing anything that said that she did not work there. So I go over to her, I'm like, hey, I have the bag, I'm like, hey, do you know where, this is supposed to go? I don't remember what I said. I think I said, do you know where this is supposed to go? And she literally looked at me, and she was like, why are you asking me? I was like, I'm like, am I not supposed to? She was like, I don't work here, so I don't know why you're asking me. Girl, do you want to fight? I'm like, oh, okay, sorry. Like, I should have gone off on her, but she's there all the time, so I didn't really feel like arguing with her. But apparently they've had problem. The other guy, he was actually pretty nice this time. He was just like, you know, I just throw it in the basket, we'll take care of it. But this is, like, apparently they've had issues with the chip stalkers before. Like, they're very, very rude, and yeah, I was very, this lady had me all the way bent, okay? Because all I did was ask you a question, sis, you're here all the time. How am I supposed to know you don't really work here? Okay, y'all. So, we're gonna get into the worst customer I've had and still have, okay? This lady is she's just an ultimate Karen. She's come through my line twice, and every time she comes through my line, there is always an issue. There's always an issue, and it's always particularly with her card, okay? She's like, I don't know why she always comes through the line. Why she always has an issue. She just doesn't go to self-checkout. So, the first time she came through the line, the stores have been asking on the pin pad screen for charity donations. So, like, it causes, like, on your side of the screen, it causes like the card to move, like the machine to move slowly, because if they put in the card before you hit like the tender, and you know, for them to kind of like put all their information in, there's a charity question, so it kind of causes the machine to move slow, but all they have to do is, like, it'll come up, and all they have to do is hit no. So this was right before I was about to go on break too. This lady came through, and she was like, oh, she paid for like one thing, and she was like, I was like, okay, go ahead, swipe your card. So she puts it in, and then the machine will make like a beeping noise if it malfunctions. It'll say chip malfunction. So the chip malfunctions, and I'm like, it's okay, just take it out and put it back in one more time. She's like, I'm thinking like she'll just be like, oh, okay, take it out, put it back in. This lady starts having a conniption, like, no joke, with everybody else on the line. She's like, is it because of that stupid charity question? I was like, I'm not sure, ma'am. I'm like, just put the card back in the reader, was what I'm thinking. I'm like, I'm not sure, ma'am. She's like, at every store I go to, every time it asks me this question, it always has an issue with the machine, and da da da. She's going off and whatever. I'm like, okay. Yep. I'm like, okay, just put the card back in the machine. So then she puts the card back in the machine, and instead of hitting like yes for like, is the total acceptable? I mean, do you accept the total? She hits no. I was like, man, we're gonna have to do it again because you hit no. But at this point, she's ready. She is ready to go off on me. I'm just like, I'm trying to go on break, so you're gonna have to make this quick. Like, if we're gonna argue, let's make it a quick argument. Second time she comes back, she went through self-scan, and she, like, the machine, like, I don't know, she went through self-scan. I don't even think the machine gave her a hard time. I think she just changed her mind and came into the line. So I was like, hi, didn't recognize her, but now I think about it, I know this is the same lady because same thing happened. I was like, okay, it's like $5 exactly. She was buying a little cake, and I was like, it's $5 exactly. And she goes, puts the card in, of course the chip malfunctions. I was like, okay, just take it out and put it back in. She's like, there's always an issue at this and everything. Like, if you guys had just, there wouldn't have been an issue if you guys had just let me go through self-scan. I was like, what? I was like, she's literally rambling nonsense. So I was like, okay. I was like, just try it one more time. So, you know what's funny? I'm pretty sure her card was probably like, tap to pay too, so it's like you don't even have to put the chip in the machine. So she goes and she taps the machine, she puts the card in the machine, and of course it malfunctions again. So now she's starting to get riled up again. I'm like, Lord have mercy, like, I don't, this is really not the time. I'm not in the mood to argue with anybody. So I lean over the counter, y'all, and I was like, okay, let me see, it might just be the machine. So I take the machine and I flip it towards me, and I'm like, okay, I was like, just put it in one more time. I'm like, it's probably just like the machine malfunctioning. Y'all, this lady want to go and talk about some, well, thank you very much for touching that, because now I have to touch the machine. I was like, okay, miss. I was like, okay, I'm sorry. She's like, no. She's like, don't laugh at me. This thing, she starts just going off rambling a bunch of foolishness. I was like, oh, okay, so she's a little out to lunch, okay. She starts rambling foolishness, getting mad and whatnot. If you guys had just let me go through self-scan, this wouldn't be a problem. I was like, all this over $5, like, all this, there's this other, actually, you know what, there's two, like, absolute menaces that come in there all the time. There's this other lady, but this lady is like definitely like way older, and she, every time she comes to the line, oh my god, there's always, like, she can never just package like the things normally. Like, she always has like an issue. She's always like, oh, she always takes it, like, she says she takes it to the homeless shelter, but she's like, oh, I need you to pack this for me in, like, she'll buy like a bunch of jars of marinara sauce and pasta, and she's like, oh, I need this to be packed properly because I don't want the jars to break in the car. I'm like, ma'am, if you want to do that, you're gonna have to do that yourself, because there's people in the line behind you. So, but she does this all the time. So actually the other day she came in, and I had just been giving, like, they were like, okay, Casey, go on self-scan. I'm like, okay. So as soon as I get over to self-scan, here she comes. She walks over to me at the podium. She's like, you know, you have a line to the back of the store. She said something slick like, oh, you know, there's a long line or whatever. So I literally was like, okay. And I was like, whatever. Just kind of like, she was staying in my like direction, my like vicinity. So I was like, I kind of looked at her, just kind of walked away. So, you know, when you're in line, you're supposed to really direct traffic, but I don't really do that. I just be like, just go wherever you want. I don't even bother trying to direct people on where to go. And she, as I'm standing there, she's like, I'm not telling people where to go, just go. I'm not, like, stop. And she literally, she's at the front of the line, and she's like, she said something, what did she say? She said something slick, but then she wants to go off on me in the line. She's like, get a manager out here right now, open up a register. Like, you're just gonna leave all these registers closed? Because there was only like 2 open registers. She's like, get someone out here right now. I'm like, excuse me? So I was like, you can go to number 1, ma'am. She was like, huh? I was like, you can go to number 1. go. Like, you want to complain so much, just go. I'm not even gonna argue with you. I hate when people feel like, especially when they're entitled. There's this one guy that my friend told me about that I have not seen yet, but he will literally make my manager open up a register just for him because he there was some sort of reason he'll make her open a register just for him because if he does not, like, if he has to wait in line and he does not have a register to go right to, he will call corporate, and those complaints do get back to the store, so he will call corporate and get the managers in trouble. So my manager opens up a register just for him, and he is so rude. He'll be like, my friend told me, he'll be like, oh, so, like, who's gonna wait on me? Like, who's gonna cash me out? Which one of you is gonna cash me out? I'm like, you about to have to cash yourself out, sir. We do applications online since you feel like you're entitled. Like, what you mean, which one of you is gonna cash you out? Alright, guys, so this next story took place, like, back in the winter when I first started working there, super early in the morning, one morning. It was like super quiet. Yeah, obviously it was super quiet because it was in the morning time. And this guy happened to be at self-checkout, cashing himself out. So as I think I had to, like, go to, like, the break room for a minute or something. So as I'm walking by, I see that his light is flashing. So I went and I grabbed the I said to the lady I was working with, I was like, hey, I was like, she was the opening cashier, which, like I said, you have to be the one that's responsible for everything. So I said, oh, just give me the key, like, I'll go fix the machine, I'll go fix the issue for him with, like, the little scan it card that they give you. So she gives me the key and I walk over, I'm like, hi, how are you? Pause. Okay, first of all, he was wearing a Boston Red Sox mask. I'm pretty sure. Was it a mask or was it a hat? He was wearing something Boston Red Sox. Anybody who comes in wearing Boston Red Sox, like, merchandise is always so freaking rude and terrible. I think there's only, like, one guy I know that's really nice that comes in all the time. If they wear, like, Red Sox merchandise, I don't know what it is. I always get, like, nervous when people come to my line because I have way too many people that wear, like, the Red Sox merchandise and they're rude. So I come over to him. I'm like, hi. I'm like, I don't know what I said. I was like, oh, is everything okay or whatever? He has a box of Bagel Bites, okay? You know Bagel Bites? Sorry, guys, my phone was ringing. But, so, yeah. So he has a box of, you know, the Bagel Bites. Those little things that come in, like, the 8-pack. And he was like, these are supposed to be 2 for $5. My thing is this. Like, if you come into the store and you're, like, if then, like, a price is wrong, if you're nice about it, like, I'll go out of my way to be like, you know what, if it says it's 2 for $5, and that's, like, where it was at, because a lot of times they do be misplacing things in the store, I'll just, you know, put it in the discount for you. But he was like, oh, it says it's supposed to be 2 for $5, but it's coming up, like, 2 for $7. I don't know, I'm making that up, but it's coming up more than 2 for $5. I'm like, oh, okay. So what you're normally supposed to do in those situations is you're supposed to go and find you're supposed to go and check the price yourself to make sure that it's the right price, or you're supposed to go and find, like, a manager, like a CDH, to go and check for you and decide if they want to give them the price. So, you know, there was no manager around at this time because it was super early in the morning, like I said. So, you know, I picked it up and I was like, okay, I was like, give me 1 second, let me just go and see, like, where it was placed at, or something of that nature. I was gonna take a box and check and make sure, you know, I had the right type with me to make sure it was on sale. As soon as I started to walk away, y'all, literally, like, no more than 3. This man wants to start getting mad at me. He's like, you know what, I don't have time for this. I have things to do. Like, you have me out here, you're going off me. He's like, I don't have time for it. All he kept saying is that he did not have time for this. But I did have the time. Today I had the time. That day I had the time. I was like, he's going off on me. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'm not about to stay here and argue with this grown man about some frozen Bagel Bites. So I was like, okay. Went in, put, like, the difference in, like, say, I don't know what the difference was, but I put in the difference in a coupon. I was like, there you go. There's the price you were so ready to cuss me out over. Like, Anyways, guys, that is all I have for you today. I have like more stories, but this video was already, I feel like it's long enough just from looking at the numbers at the top of the screen. So yeah, like I said, please be sure to subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and yeah, thank you so much for watching.